All right, we're live here. We're back. Professional Casual Fans Podcast episode. Is this 5? Is this 6?
Six.
Dang, here we go. Look at that.
We're moving
Halfway
up
to 12. Yeehaw. All right. So, pretty mediocre week for the two of us on the pick'em front. We had some hot takes that went well. We had some hot takes that went exactly as you would think they would go and went completely wrong. But an overall solid weekend of NFL football.
Yeah, no. I mean, it wasn't too bad of a week. Again, after the 1 o'clock window, we killed it. I'm going to start betting only on 4 o'clock games because I have yet to miss a 4 o'clock game this year.
And then 1 o'clock window where it's just Normandy. We're just the beaches of Normandy.
Exactly. It's 50-50. We're just like...
They're like, get up, soldier! It's down 14 and a half!
Keep moving! Keep moving!
On your feet, soldier! They just lost by a game-winning field goal.
If you stay still, you'll die! No.
I was pretty happy, though, with even though they were favored. Something that I kind of hung my hat on all day, very stupidly, was that I picked the Bills. I went with my gut, went with the Bills. I went against the hype train. And honestly, that game made me feel 10 times better about the Commanders getting handled by them. Yeah. Because we held them to 16 points until the fourth quarter, so...
Yeah, no, the Dolphins defense could not stop them. Like, I don't know, man. The Dolphins defense has a real problem. I mean, they've struggled stopping teams kind of all year, but like their offense has been able to just blow past everyone else. Yeah. So, I mean, the Bills kind of just
they
fucked them up.
Yeah, I think it just showed that it's right now the Bills are, and I'm hesitant to crown them at all just yet, just because, I mean, of what they've done the past, 3 years. But they kind of seem like they're establishing their superiority over the rest of the AFC. And Josh Allen, after that week 1 kind of debacle, he's just been 10 times better. He's been so much more careful with the ball. And their defense is killing. Their secondary is really good. Yeah. And I think getting Micah Hyde back and healthy has been a huge boost for them this season. And, yeah, I mean, they just had Tua was struggling all day. And this is what I, kind of said last week about Miami, where I just don't trust him to get them where they need to go. I think he's good enough, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to bring Miami where they want to go.
I don't know. Their offensive line really struggled against that Bills defensive front. So, Tua was just under pressure all day, not making good throws. He was able to drive them down the first couple drives, but after that, they basically put them on the lots. And it was a rough week also to be playing Josh Allen, Stephen Diggs in fantasy because they put up a lot of points against me. They just were rolling that defense. I was like, get one stop. And they were just like, nope. And then
it was just Diggs 20 yards in the end zone every time.
Just stone cold Steve digging it.
Dude, you know how mad I would be if I'm you're sitting there and he just takes your two $15 beers and just smashes them together. How do you go back to the vendor and be like, yeah, so he scored and just blew my cans up. I don't know what to. Can I get another one?
You saw it. It was on the screen next to you.
Just trying to show. They just can see your absolutely just astonished face on there. You're just just ruining the touchdown for you.
Oh man!
But yeah, the Bills look legit, and
yeah.
I mean, this is the NFL. It's so week to week, man. Where it's last week everybody's crowning the Dolphins Super Bowl champions, and then this week it's just right back to Dolphins are kind of And, next week it could be right back to the same thing if the Bills put up another dud performance.
And
But staying on the AFC East, how about Zach Wilson seemingly finding himself in that
I
game? I
know,
was
first
so
quarterback.
sad for the Jets. I wanted them to win that game so badly, and they got screwed.
Everyone wanted them. Everyone wanted the Jets to win. Taylor Swift's there. Everyone's like, F that beat. So
Yeah.
everyone's just cheering for the Jets, and the NFL's like, we can't do this. Gotta
Can't
get
let
the
it
dub
happen.
for Taylor.
We got to keep those promo dollars
Gotta get
rolling
the
in.
dub for Taylor.
We have a brand new
I know.
demographic.
Did you see
There's no
them
chance.
change their like like Twitter banner or something where it
They've
just
changed it
was
like 3
pictures of
times.
Taylor Swift? I
Yeah.
know. What is that? Why are they just I mean, I get it because like she's bringing in like the highest viewerships to games, but like at the same time, your own fans are like, come on.
Yeah. He's just pissing off every 50-year-old dad just out there.
Yeah.
I just want to watch the game. I don't need to see her. And it is crazy,
I
though.
love
I
the
was
clips.
wondering last week, because as you know, my sister is a devout Swiftie, had front row floor seats to the Eras Tour. And I was saying to her, I was like, she doesn't do anything without like a purpose. Like Taylor Swift is very like, she's very smart. She does everything is like, there's a meaning to everything. She doesn't do anything by accident. And I was like, she's very particular about her like public appearances.
Image and
And
stuff.
I was like,
yeah.
it's very strange to me that she's just showing up to these NFL games, very openly rooting for the guy that she's dating, I guess. And then magically, all of a sudden, during NFL games, we're seeing commercials for the Taylor Swift Eras Tour in movie theaters. And I was like, oh, it's all coming together now. Not saying that this is like one big farce, but it is very, very convenient that her movie's coming out here in like a month or so. And she's everywhere. She's just building that hype train up. She's a marketing genius.
Yeah, no. In one of my classes, my teacher talks about it's a marketing class, and my teacher only talks about Taylor Swift like half the time, and how she's just brilliant at marketing herself.
Yeah, she's got the enigma. She's got the kind of obviously just the spectacle of everything, and she's also just the music's decent. I probably shouldn't say that if we ever want to have any kind of viewers, but it is. I play her music all the time in gym class, so kids.
It's pretty solid,
Bash me for it. Yeah, Midnight's was good. All right, we should really stop there. We're just falling right into the trap.
We're like, the Eras Tour video.
We're like, why do they keep talking about her? And then we just talk about her for the next 15 minutes.
You should go to your local theater.
We go through her whole catalog of music. We're like, I really, really like Speak Now. I thought that was just a real testament to the human soul. But anyway, the real highlight of that whole game was
Zach Wilson.
Yeah. And it just shows you how much of a game of confidence sports are in general, I guess. But, like, that guy was absolutely lost. And then he hit, like, one pass to Garrett Wilson, I think it was, or it was like a back shoulder pass or something. And it was, like, right then and there, he kind of, like, caught fire. It kind of all just started making sense. It seemed like he was getting the rhythm of the offense. And they got Breece Hall going a little. He had that one run where I thought he was going to take it to the house. And the crowd was rocking. Like, you say what you want about Jets fans, they were, like, in it. Like, they were, for how bad things have gone for them, like, they were all in it.
Jets fans are just like, they're going to hate on you when you're doing bad, but when you're in it, Jets fans are ride or die. Like, they are willing to give up their soul for the Jets.
Dude, they had that fireman guy. He was, like, standing on the second level, like, balcony thing. It was like, man, they are back for this third quarter. But I really wanted them to. I think they're going to, we'll save this for, I guess, the pick'em thing. But that was a really good showing from Zach Wilson. If I was a Jets fan, I'd be very happy with what I saw. Because that guy, when he really lets it rip, like, he's got the arm. Like that thing just like kind of flies out.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just a matter of not throwing it to defenders is usually the key. So if he can just not throw it to the other team, I think he'll be okay.
First quarterback to ever outplay Mahomes in his college and pro career.
He faced Mahomes in college.
Like, no, not in. I'm just saying, like in total, like they like I saw like a stat that no one ever beat him in like yards, completions, and touchdowns and fewer interceptions. And Zach Wilson did all of
Oh,
that.
I thought I heard you on that. I thought you kind of glitched out. I thought you said he's the first person to ever face him in the pros and college. I was like, really?
Nah, just outplay him.
Outplay him? Yeah. Yeah, he did well. He was really rolling
Yeah.
there. So, but I guess Rodgers, I just saw him on Pat
Mahomes looks
McAfee.
terrible.
Yeah, that offense is just clunky, and it's almost like they lost
Yeah.
an offensive mind who was very innovative. A play caller who
Yeah,
called
it's
all the
weird.
plays in the second half of the Super Bowl. Isn't that strange how the
Hmm.
offense starts looking clunky when Matt Nagy takes back over? But they'll figure it out. I mean, he'll figure it
Don't
out.
he got Mitch to the playoffs.
I thought that team was going to win the Super Bowl,
Matt
as we talked
Nagy.
about. But speaking
Yeah.
of that
Yeah, Matt
mysterious guy
Nagy.
who was out of Kansas City, how about Eric Bieniemy, Sam Howell, and the Washington Commanders taking it to the Philadelphia Eagles all the way to overtime? What an electric fourth quarter. And Sam Howell with the bounce back performance of the decade for the Washington Commanders. I think it almost feels like a win. Like, as dumb as that sounds, like it felt like a win going out of that game because of how good he looked, just specifically off of that last drive. Just absolute nails, great passes, a few dumb decisions here and there, but I mean, you went against one of the top three defenses and in their house and probably should have won that game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he looked great. I actually, because my Steelers were such an ass, I switched over near the end of that game, like mid third quarter into the fourth, and he really, he stepped up huge for you guys. Like to come back and tie that game up, force overtime was really impressive. I really do think you guys should have gone for two in
Yeah.
that final score in regulation because like all the momentum was flowing with you guys. Like, let's win it here.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
kind of
a
how I
guy
feel
that's
too.
like,
And
I hate
I've seen,
leaving it up to a coin toss.
yeah, and they ended up ultimately getting the ball. And I do
Yeah.
think there has to be a rule. Like, I was screaming at the TV, like, what is the deal with, like, how does it work that he is clearly stepping in bounds, but he's on the guy's arm? Like, what is the ruling on that? And they didn't mention until the very, it's like he's in bounds. He's standing on the guy's arm. Like, what is the, and even with that, it almost does look like his toes like graze the side. If he was caught, it was caught a complete pass on the field, it would have stood. But you know, it is what it is. There was a lot of very kind of iffy calls for both teams. That intentional grounding that they called on Hurts was a little. I mean, it was a dumb decision by him there to kind of throw that, and he just kind of like the past few weeks he has just not looked sharp.
It's
Like
an
this is
interesting
probably the
year
best their
quarterback
offense.
wise.
Yeah,
Like some people are just struggling. That you don't expect. Like Joe Burrow's like statistically the
really
worst quarterback in the league. Yeah, like
bad.
it's a weird year.
Yeah, it's strange. He's not. It's not just with his like passing either. It's like his running. He doesn't really. I don't know if it might just be me, but he just doesn't look as explosive as he used to look. Not that he was ever like this like burner. He was always a very kind of methodical runner, but he just doesn't seem to have that burst. He's might be just trying to not take as many hits as he has in years past. So maybe he's just trying to ease it up and only run when he absolutely has to. But yeah, I mean, just something just feels off with the Eagles. Like it just doesn't seem like they're like you. I think if you talk to a lot of people in that fan base, it's like they're winning these games, but they're coming out of every single game like, man, that didn't feel good. And it's just
Yeah,
kind
they've
of
been close.
Yeah, it just feels
All
like
their
they're
games have
holding
been
everything
close.
for dear life, sort of. And I don't think their secondary is as good as people think it is. I think Darius Slay he's all right. I think he's like 32 or 33, and like with cornerbacks, that's
Yeah,
ancient.
that's old.
And yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
he's definitely seems like he's lost a step. And we'll see how it goes. I mean, they're still 4-0, but uh,
yeah,
I still think San Francisco is the class of the NFC. I think that's kind of been made very, very clear because they're just steamrolling everybody.
yeah. They got Dallas this week. This will be the game.
No, it's not. San Fran's going to steam. There's no doubt.
I know.
But we'll save that for the pick'em for next
Everyone's
week.
gonna be like, I know. Everyone's gonna be riding the Cowboys dongo though after another curve stomping.
No. Yeah. It's and that game too is like New England is such a pathetic team. I think like they're just not good. Like
Just
they're
look
they're
terrible
fully
too.
yeah like they're fully riding on their reputation right now. Like they're like they're kind of the team that like the old like the high school peaker who like shows up and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" Like that's them in like every single game. And I do wonder if this is Belichick's curtain call. I could
Telling
see him
stories about the good times. They're like, I remember
exactly.
when.
I used to roll these guys and not even think about it. All these guys'
Exactly.
wives
They
want to
just
sleep with me. Just ask them. But
they know. They know.
still driving your car from high school. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they're like I said. I wonder if this is Belichick's end here because it's been a slow decline every single season since Brady left. Like that one year, it was like they haven't missed a beat. They're going to win the East again. Mac Jones is just Brady reincarnated, and
Yeah.
it's just not at all the case. So
They're relying on the defense heavily. Like the Patriots, it's like if their defense isn't gonna hold their team to under 20 points, they're probably not winning.
yeah, and they just lost Matt Judon. I'm pretty sure for like a while, if not the whole season.
Yeah, that's brutal.
But yeah, they're in a rough spot. We also made a grave mistake last week in our pick'em that probably would have altered our picks.
We forgot Deshaun Watson wasn't gonna play.
Exactly. Yeah, we
I've
completely
been thinking
forgot
that too.
Yeah,
Well, he was cleared. I heard that he was cleared to play, and then he opted to sit. Like he opted out. He was
he was
like,
just like,
"Can I just sit this one out?" Yeah, no, I was just watching a video on like it was First Things First, and they were talking about how Deshaun Watson decided to opt out of playing. He was cleared and opted out, which is wild. Like
he just called
big
it sick,
divisional game, big
and he was
divisional
like,
game against the Ravens, and he's like,
I don't know
nah,
if I'm up for
I
it.
ain't playing.
Pull the old SpongeBob. I don't really feel like it. But
Yeah, that's wild.
but yeah, and that Ravens fans are automatically back on the like Super Bowl or bust. I'm buying my Super Bowl tickets. We're back in, baby. We are back. Vegas, here we come. And it's like they beat what's his name, fucking
Yeah, that what's his
Dorian something, right?
what? Yeah, Dorian Thompson Robinson or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. And a rookie quarterback, and
Yeah,
it's like okay.
DTR, that boy band.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a good win for them for sure. Like they looked good. It was the most competent the Ravens
Yeah,
offense looked all year. But like
Browns
I don't
defense
get.
looks not as good as it was looking too. Like
Yeah, and then I
they
guarantee you next
poked
week
the holes through that defense.
the Browns will blow whoever they play out next week. Because every other week they're
Yeah,
like, but yeah, Ravens got it done. Their fans are fully back on the Super Bowl run. The Giants are a mess. The Giants and the Bears might be the two worst teams in the league.
that is very possible. I don't know if I'm taking Broncos over Giants, but at this point, maybe. But I have no clue. Everyone's looked good against that Broncos defense. Even Justin
the
Fields
Broncos
just looked
won,
good finally.
At least
I
Russell
know.
Wilson can throw the ball.
That is true. That is true.
I haven't seen worse quarterbacking than I've seen from Daniel Jones. in the
Nine
last night was one of the worst quarterbacking performances I've ever seen. That wasn't under the guise of like he's a rookie or something like that. And it's like
Yeah.
he just got what 160 million 4 years, and it's like if I'm Brian Daboll, I am like, what are we gonna do? Like he is holding the ball for
I
so
thought,
long. Like it just constant, like moving into pressure too. Like he would move up, the pocket's collapsing, and he would move into the pocket. He would try and slide in, and there would be a guy right there. And I mean, a back-breaking interception too there, and that to Witherspoon at like the 2 yard line or
yeah,
something like that. And I mean, they just look. I do
returned.
wonder if Tyrod is on the cusp of superstardom here for the New York
Oh,
Giants.
Tyrod is a dog. But no, the Giants. I saw something today that said the Giants fans haven't seen a touchdown in MetLife in 10 months.
Just a measly field goal. It was a good field goal though. It was like a
Yeah.
55-yarder. So you
Yeah.
can't say they haven't been
They
entertained.
scored 3 points. 3 points on their home field this year in 2 games.
The Big Apple, dude. That's the amount of touchdowns they've seen. The Big Apple.
Just
Right,
a
that's the
big
end of the
old
podcast
zero.
right there. But yeah, I mean, I think it just sucks because, I mean, not for me, but like I feel like the Giants got so cocky off of that one season, and they were like, all we need is like another year of like figuring this out, chemistry. And like they didn't do anything to address their offensive line. They didn't do anything except get Darren Waller for their wide receivers, and they drafted a few guys, and they didn't do anything. Their defense was good last year, but they got worse, obviously. And it's like they expected something different. And I think they obviously, Saquon not being healthy is a big shot too, but I mean, he can only do so much if they know that they can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
So, I think it's so like there was so many times last night where I felt like Darren Waller was like wide open, or like if you give him a chance, he will try and make a play. And like Daniel Jones just does not trust himself, and he doesn't have the kind of he doesn't have what's the word like the chemistry, for lack of a better word, I guess, with Waller. And it sucks to see. Like it's just clunky. It's awful. Like I think Brian Daboll is absolutely furious. Like I do
Oh,
think
he
he's a
was
good coach.
furious.
I've never seen him like
He
that.
was pissed.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was pissed.
that
Throwing
was
tablets and shit at him. He was
yeah,
not
right
happy
at
with
Daniel
Daniel
Jones,
Jones.
not giving a
Yeah,
shit if it
he
like
was
lands on
not.
his knee.
Yeah, he literally looked at the screen for like a second and then just was like, "Get this shit out of here." He was
My
so
favorite
mad.
part though
That
is when they
was
showed the slow motion of Daniel Jones walking back to the bench, and Brian Daboll just like like right in his face, and Daniel Jones just goes right, but doesn't even look at him. And I'm like, man, things are great
just
up there.
that's Eli Manning right there.
And even Eli was like on that broadcast last night. Was like, yeah, this isn't looking so good. He said something like that. But I mean, they have a brutal stretch coming up here too. I'm pretty sure they
Oh
have.
no, it's only gonna get worse. They got
So,
my Buffalo and Miami next.
yeah, and then they
It's
got
only
the
gonna get worse.
the rough and tough Washington Commanders after that.
No, it's just such a disappointing year for Giants fans because like you made the playoffs last year and you're like, hey, hopefully we don't take a step back. You're
Mm-hmm.
hoping for a step forward, of course, but at least you're like, we made it last year, so we're probably gonna give it a run for its money again this year. And they have totally regressed to
They've
just dog
fallen back
shit.
down the
Yeah,
stairs. Yeah,
and none of the moves worked. Nothing they did this offseason worked.
they,
It just
they got
they're
dizzy at the top of
ass.
the stairs and just tumbled
Yeah.
back, just completely like flipping back.
Yeah, after beating the Vikings last year in the playoffs, it's just been total regression for that team, and it just isn't a good look for Daniel Jones or Dayball, which sucks for Dayball because, like you
Yeah.
said, I think he's a good coach too, but it
Yeah.
is just brutal. They got hit with the shit stick.
I was saying, I was like, he might get fired because this could be one of those
Yeah.
like dumpster fire seasons that is so bad that you end up like making brash decisions because you're like, this should never happen.
Mm-hmm,
And
exactly.
but yeah,
But he'll get hired somewhere else,
oh
like
yeah.
because
I don't think
he
he'll
is
get
a good
fired
coach.
because this is like more of a GM kind of thing, I think, than it is his fault. Uh, but I mean, they just need to get more talent on that team, and they didn't. But but yeah, it's rough for them. It's not going to go any better. They're staring down the barrel of 1-5 right now, and RIP
It's
to the New
ugly.
York Jets.
It is ugly.
Not yet, but it's not looking good.
Hey, Aaron Rodgers was walking, and supposedly it takes 6 weeks to walk after an Achilles injury. So
Yeah, he was
supposedly,
like supposed to have 6 weeks in a boot, and he said he's already in a shoe after 13 days,
yeah.
and
You
he's wearing
think
like
that
an ankle brace, and I'm like,
he has to be
you-
good? Like, what
you're
if he
gonna
just
tear your
blows that
ACL
shit
again,
out?
or you're gonna tear your Achilles again. Like you're just gonna like go get the mail,
He's
and like
playing
you,
next week.
yeah. I think he's coming back this season. That's
He's
my
gonna
hot take.
try. He's really
Yeah.
trying. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it came back because he is doing everything possible. He's taking he's found some weird surgeries where they just put something in there for you or something. I'm not
hmm
completely sure, but I heard him talking about it a little bit on the
Yeah,
Pat
I heard
McAfee
about that.
show.
Yeah, it was some kind of.
But he's trying his hardest to get back out there. I don't know if it's gonna be too little, too late. If they're out of it, if I'm him, I'm
Yeah,
not coming
just save
back.
it up. Yeah, just
Yeah,
wait till next
because
season.
don't risk that. Don't risk blowing it out again.
I do think there's no question though now that he's fully planning on playing next year. Like I don't think there's any
Yeah.
question that he's thinking about hanging it up. So half glass full there for Jets fans. And like I said, like we'll try and get off the topic of the New York sports for some reason here, but Zach Wilson, I think I should. There's reason for optimism there. Like if this kid had confidence, if you continue to build his confidence, I think you can see what happens.
Did you see Rodney Harrison dog him? Just
That was terrible.
absolutely dog him.
And
That
honestly,
was
props to Chris Jones for just like seeing over
yeah.
it and was just kind of like, all right, like, no, like what are you
Yeah,
talking about?
Rodney's trying to bait him into saying, yeah, he's
Huh.
he's trash. Like,
He
no.
should be suspended from the broadcast for that. Like that is not okay. Like
Yeah, he was just shitting on him.
especially as like somebody who works for the network that was airing the game, you
Yeah.
shouldn't be talking about one of the players. And as a former player too, it's like you should not be talking like that. But I've heard not so great things about Rodney Harrison behind the scenes. So yeah,
Yeah. So here's what
what
it
else do you
is.
expect? All right, what else? What other big games do we have here? We had
I
the
I want to
Chargers
talk.
and the Raiders. That was a good one.
Yeah. Didn't the Chargers trying to run away with? Nah, they didn't because the Raiders kind of came back. Didn't they go for it for 4th and 1 again and did not get it
Yeah,
on
yeah,
their own 30?
yeah. Justin
And then their
Herbert got
defense
stood up.
bailed them out.
Yeah,
Oh my
Justin
god!
Herbert tried to
How many
push and just
times?
got taken right up.
How many times do I have to tell you, old man?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I said it. I was like, if the Chargers lose this game to that O'Connell kid who was starting for Vegas,
Yeah.
like Brandon Staley is fired. Like you cannot keep him. Like
Well, it's
he's
like
trying too hard.
he's really both back-to-back weeks now. He's been like, here is the resignation. I'm gonna go for it on 4th and 1 on my 20 or 30, not get it. Here you go. I'm giving him the dub, and then his defense is like, "Oh, we bailed him out. Thank God." If
He's
I'm
like,
one of them, I'm quitting. I'm like, get him out of here.
He's like, I want to go to the Bahamas so bad.
It's like I made
honestly,
all the money I need.
he's probably seeing Cliff Kingsbury like living his best life or whatever when he just moved to Thailand or whatever for after he got fired. And he's like, honestly, that doesn't seem fit. Maybe if I'm so bad, they pay me the rest of my contract, and I can just chill for the next few months.
I know. Wild.
But yeah,
that man.
Speaking of though, that 4th and 1, because that was a failed tush push, brotherly shove.
A couple failed tush pushes this week.
A couple,
the Giants tried too.
What is your stance on the legality of the tush push?
I hate the play. I really do. But I've always said other teams should just be doing this on 4th and 1 because it's hard to stop. But I guess other teams suck ass at it, and only Philly's really the only team that's like it's a guarantee
They've
because
like perfected it. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, they just have the front for it. They just get lower than everyone else. I mean, Seattle kind of showed something last night. I kind of liked what they did technique-wise, attacking the tush push. Like, their whole front line kind of just dove at the knees of the offensive linemen while the whole linebackers are coming over the top. And not, like, at
Yeah.
this point, that's probably what you have to do. You got to try taking out kneecaps, which is never good, but when it comes to that
You got to
play,
beat it somehow.
yeah,
And it's all a leverage play. Like Philly is really good at it because of two things. Because their offensive line is very good at getting low.
low.
And
Yeah,
then number two, Jalen Hurts is the strongest quarterback in the league, probably, like pure strength wise. And when you have those two things, it's just really hard to stop. And I think calling for it to be banned is so kind of lame. And
it
it's
is
so
lame.
kind of like, it's like, that's cheating. It's like, all right, it's not cheating. You're just mad because it works.
Yeah.
And,
It
like you
is
said, there was multiple
very
people who,
classic football. Like, it is 1950s football at its finest.
no, it's
But like,
rugby. Jack
if
Del
it
Rio
works,
called it a rugby play.
I mean,
And
it does look like rugby too.
yeah. But it's one of those things, like if they were doing it constantly, like they were running nothing else, and they were getting
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 yards of pop on it, then it's kind of like, all right, maybe this isn't fair. But it's like they're only using it in close yarded situations. A QB sneak is already extremely similar to what it is anyway. And like
Mm-hmm.
in the goal line, you always see guys like when the quarterback goes to, if they do a QB sneak, you'll always see like the running back push up on him to try and push him forward. I think it's one of those things that eventually there's going to be a scheme that
I'm
defenses are
always,
able to. Go ahead.
I've, I've always been a guy that says on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, fucking just QB sneak it. I've always been that person, and now like with the Steelers, because we've had Big Ben, I was like, Big Ben's huge, just fall forward, he's gonna get it. Or not with Kenny Pickett, I say the same thing now. So I'm always for the 4th and 1 QB sneaks. So it just sucks it's not my team that's doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sucks that Philly's so good at it and no one could stop it. It seems like, but I'm not gonna call for it being banned.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Like it's like I was saying, like I think eventually teams are gonna scheme it up to where you can stop it, and I think there's a pretty simple way to just even. I'm sure people. I'll sound like an idiot saying this, but I feel like as a defense, just use the same exact formation. You know what I'm saying? Like use the same
Yeah.
form when they're doing that. You line up your guys, 5 guys in
Now
the
it's the
front.
tug of war, basically,
Yeah, just
where
have
you're just
5 guys in the
pushing.
front. Each man gets a lineman, and then you have the linebackers literally like line up like the
Yeah,
quarterback
just
and the
because.
guys behind him, and then you have one guy who just tries. One guy is in charge of stopping the quarterback. And like I said, probably sound like an idiot saying this. Not an offensive coordinator, never been a football coach, but it makes sense saying it. So
I like what you're saying though.
hire
Like
me.
you line up same form and you just like it's our strength versus your strength. You're pushing them backwards. You gotta try to just push your guys to make them not push us.
Yeah.
As everyone's down for the tackle. Like no one's like focusing on just stopping the line from moving.
Yeah, you
Like
got
if you
guys who
just
like are just completely giving up their leverage by just like jumping the pile is the exact wrong thing to do because then you're just like focusing.
unless you're Troy P. Like unless you're Troy P and can time it perfectly and shoot a gap or hurdle literally everyone.
Yeah, and you're able to like have just pure arm strength pull somebody back,
Yeah.
but not everybody is Troy P.
Yeah. One of a kind. Love that,
Yeah,
man. Miss
not
him.
everybody's on the Head and Shoulders commercials and Chunky Soup commercials.
What a
Him and
legend.
Donovan McNabb. But speaking of Troy P, your boys really let us down this week. I put money on the Steelers, and C.J. Stroud just kind of,
It was so depressing. I've
yeah,
never like Matt Canada is hitting that Brandon Staley level for me. Like I just don't get what he's like thinking his scheme's doing. Like he'll run 3rd and 8. Oh, guess what? let's throw a pass. He's just so predictable. Like, I've never seen someone be more predictable. Like, we'll get a couple good runs, and then he'll be like, you know what? The run's working well. Let's pass this ball. Just
Yeah.
crushes momentum. Or we're like, the pass will be going, and he's like, let's get the run game now. And it goes for like 2 yards. He's like, oh, we just completed a 15-yard pass on back-to-back plays. Dive. And just no one falls for it. Everyone's still just all over us.
It's like he's
And
playing
then
Madden.
it really is. And oh my God, the thing that irks me the most this weekend, there were two things that really got me. It's the first thing I'll go to, second thing that irks me the most, the second most irkage. The 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, lining up in shotgun still. This man does not understand how yards work. Like, it might be 1 yard from where the ball starts, but if you're dropping 4 yards back, you got to get 5 yards to the line to the game. Like, it's just so painful to watch that happen. Like, repeatedly. I kind of blame him for Kenny Pickett's injury in the game. I was so scared. I thought season was over. I was like, oh, that's an ACL. I was like, there goes the parlay with the O's. I was like, that.
They're good. Catch out.
I was like, I'm ready for next year. Like, I was so, as when Pickett went down, I was like, oh, well, I'll prepare for next year now. And what's sad is because he went out last year when I went to the Ravens Steelers game in Pittsburgh. He went out first drive concussion, and now he might not play next week. And I blame Canada for dropping him into shotgun and throwing a pass on 4th and 1. 4th and 1, 16-6 game. The run was finally getting going. And it's like, oh, we might be able to come back and win this game if we score here. There's like 12 minutes left. And he goes, 4th and 1? We've been able to run the ball effectively. Najee's busted a couple 8-yard runs this drive. Let's drop homeboy in shotgun and throw a pass here. And it's like, what are you thinking? Like, I mean, Kenny had a guy on the play, but like, I just don't get the process of Matt Canada's play calling. Also, the thing that really irks me though is the motioning, the receiver lining all the way out wide, and you motion him just to line up in the backfield.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is that doing?
They picture themselves like Kyle Shanahan. They're like, yeah, this will really get him.
I know. I don't think I've seen many other teams do this. Like, and we did it like 10 times this game. We split a receiver out as a wideout and would motion him to the backfield. And I don't know who we're confusing. Like, what is the read there? Like, I don't think anyone's getting confused by that play.
It seems like you see a lot now. Like, and if this makes you feel any better, as far as like dropping back in a shotgun on 4th down, like I don't like. There's a lot of teams who are doing that now, and it's the dumbest thing of like automatically kind of cutting yourself out of certain situations, certain plays and everything. And like you said, you're already just putting yourself at a disadvantage. But another thing you're seeing a lot of is motion just for the sake of doing motion. Like, it's like I feel like they see a lot of these like up and coming offensive coordinators who are using motion to not only like figure out what scheme the defense is running, to figure out if they're in man or zone, or like in general just trying to kind of cause confusion. Like, they're just doing it to do it. And like that seems like a perfect case of that, where like everybody's like, all right, he's in the backfield now. Like, there's no like, where's he going?
It's just so terrible. And we finally ran a jet sweep with Calvin Austin. Like, it finally. What I don't also get is we don't start our rookies. Like, Broderick Jones, our first round pick, first snaps he took this year was this game when our tackle went down. That was his first snaps of the year. And Joey Porter, who's been our best corner, I think. Like, personally, I think Joey Porter Jr. has been our best corner when he's on the field, but he's never on the field.
Yeah. Yeah, I think did he have an interception week 1 or week 2?
No, I think he had a couple pass breakups.
Or he had a big
week
pass
1
at the end of the game. He had a big pass breakup.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just about, you see a lot of that now where guys just don't trust their young guys. And it's like they got to learn somehow. You know, it might not go well like right off the bat, but how are they going to learn if they don't get toasted once in a
And
while?
Pat Pete and Levi Wallace are just getting cooked every play. Like, those two look terrible. I mean, Levi has a couple picks, but like, none of them are because he's playing like good coverage. They're all like a pass thrown behind the receiver, and he's just there.
I like thrown right to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. But CJ Stroud just continues to, I think, looks clearly like the best quarterback at this point out of that draft class. And is Houston the best team in the AFC South?
I'm not ready to hop on that bandwagon just
Not
yet.
ready to hop on that wagon?
I'm still taking the Jags in that division.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I know Houston beat them, but when it comes down to things, I think the Jags are still going to have more wins at the end of the year. Like, Houston's gonna, I see them probably as like a 6-11 team, but I don't know. I'm not.
The thing is, they just keep piecing things together. Like every week, they're doing something better on both sides of the ball, and usually with those kind of teams and the younger teams, like by the end of the year, they're like legitimately good. Yeah. And like if Stroud keeps doing this, I'm not saying they're like a actual legit good team, but I could see them kind of sneaking in to the playoffs somehow. That division, I'm not necessarily ready to buy the Jags completely. Like I was ready this off season, like at the beginning of the season, I saw the Jags as like a Super Bowl contender, and they've very much disappointed me, and that could change. But you know that division is so strange.
It's interesting.
And Tennessee's showing that they're still good, but
yeah,
you know we'll see what happens.
That was my pick of the week. That's the one I nailed. You nailed Buffalo. I nailed Tennessee. Yeah, that was the one.
That was a big one. I
nailed.
Yeah.
That's.
Joe Burrow is concerning.
Yeah,
there you go.
He just that injury. It's clear he's playing hurt. They're telling us he's not hurt, but it's just clear something's wrong with his whole game right now. And he hasn't looked the same all year as he has the past two. Like he's been brilliant his past 2 years playing, and it's just been major. It's like the Giants. Like it's that big of a regression. Right?
Yeah, it's rough, and there seems to be a little bit of a rift growing with Jamar Chase.
Oh, Jamar's not happy.
He's not happy at all. He had quite an.
I'm always fucking open.
Pardon my profanity, he said right afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's concerning because this seems like he is playing hurt, but it also just seems like all right, something is not right. Like this offense is completely depleted, and what's worrisome is like you don't know. This may be the last year where you see the Bengals at this kind of affordable offense because I don't know. Like I think T. Higgins is a free agent after this season. All right, did they? Maybe he has one more year. I think maybe they picked up his option, but it's one of those things where it's like it's just kind of concerning because it's like that offensive line is not great, their defense is not playing well, and Burrow just doesn't look good.
Yeah,
and
they could.
That division is too tough for them to be playing like this because you could easily see them fall way behind if they continue to play like this. And they're losing crucial games. They've now lost to the Ravens and now to the Titans. So, I mean, they're 0-2 in the conference. Who'd they play week 1?
They played the Browns, and the Browns beat them.
So you're already 0-2 in the division, 0-3 in the conference. Like, they're putting themselves in quite a hole.
It is not looking good for the Bengals. It's brutal. He suffered this injury because, like you said, the window's closing on that Super Bowl chances. Everyone's not going to be cheap anymore. So that window is narrowing every day.
Yeah. And normally you would say with Joe Burrow, as with any team that has an elite quarterback, that window never really shuts as long as they're playing. But, excuse me, if he's playing like this, like it's it's alarming.
See, you can say that though, but the AFC is just loaded with elite level quarterbacks. Like 7 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league are probably in the AFC. You know,
Mm-hmm. No,
so
yeah, you're right. Yeah,
it's
pretty
just
much
gonna be
every division
like
has. Go ahead.
if he doesn't have the support, that's like if they can't afford the support because they're paying him too much or Jamar too much, like they can't afford an O line to protect him. Like it's gonna be rough for them in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, is there any other big games we want to cover before getting to the postseason?
Did you see any clips from Andy's toy room? We were
I
kind of
did see a
trolling
little
about
bit
it
of it.
last time, so we should talk about Andy's toy room. That
I
was
saw some of Bijan Robinson's highlights.
that little. The funniest clip is the first touchdown where in the toy room, the quarterback throws it and it just hits the ground, and they're like, "Touchdown, caught the ball," but it just doesn't look like a catch at all. It just the ball went straight to the floor.
Yeah, a little bit behind on the technology still. It's going to catch up, but they
Yeah.
I did like Slinky Dog being the marker for the first
Yeah,
down.
that was a good thought. I like the
Yeah.
Slinky Dog too.
Imagine if
I
it
don't
was
know
like
if
a
that really
1st and 25. Slinky is just
is longish.
just a man dick.
I think. Do you think that actually like helps kids get into football? You think they watch that and they're like, "Oh, that's so cool! The
I
toys are
think so. I think
playing
there's
this
definitely
sport."
a like the idea of like, oh, this is interesting, but like, do they understand what's
Yeah,
happening? Like, there's no chance.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, does it actually get them into football, or are they just into like the toy aspect of like them playing around? You know?
Yeah, I'd go with the toy aspect for sure. But definitely a cool idea. I thought it went a lot better than I thought it was going to go. So
I
props
think
to
I
them.
can't wait for the Monster Inc. game.
That'd be
That
sick.
one I'll be, or the Finding Nemo.
Just in the water.
Yeah, they're just underwater.
It's
They're
the
the
players
scuba Steve
underwater,
who
like,
stole
"Whoa,
Nemo.
whoa."
The
All
Lion
right, let's
King
move on
game.
to the postseason. We got to try and get this thing in under an hour. We keep
I
clocking. We keep clocking in
postseason.
like mini movies every time.
Well, the people love the mini
I
movies.
do. They love a nice mini movie. All right, so we got
Yeah.
baseball postseason. Today was the first day of the wild card round. We had the first game of the day was Rays versus the Rangers, and the Rangers won. Rangers kind of lucked out because the Rays were in rough shape. There was a lot of error, big time fielding errors. There was a ball hit to center fielder Jose Siri with men on first and third, I think, or maybe first and second, and he just completely botched it, and the Rangers ended up getting 2 runs off of it. And Rays just did not look sharp. That stadium was also like half full, which is pathetic.
Yeah, I mean,
And then the second
those
game, I
Tampa
think
fans just don't show out for their team, and it's so depressing
they don't care.
because the Rays are always consistently good. Like the Rays are consistently a solid team. They don't even spend that much money most of the time, and they're always solid.
Yeah.
Like I don't get why their fans don't show out for them.
Yeah, it's because it's like in St. Petersburg. And so it's like 2 different cities. In St. Petersburg, it's like a sleepy town, and there's not that many people there. It's borderline like a suburban town. And then Tampa's like 40 minutes away. So
Oh shit.
I think it's like one of those things they probably need to like move the stadium. But, yeah, it just sucks. If I was a player and I saw that like for a playoff game, I'd be like, why are we even doing this?
Yeah. I mean, it's just so demoralizing if your own fans aren't even interested in like
Don't
your
care.
team being actually legitimately good.
Yeah.
Like, the
Like we
old
have a shot for
stands
the
were
World
empty as
Series.
fuck for so long, and as soon as we got good, we're selling out games. Like, the whole city of
Yeah,
Baltimore is like, hell yeah! I've been an O's
yeah,
fan since
yeah.
'83.
Dude, tickets for this weekend. Like I have tickets for the game on Saturday and Sunday, and I just looked
Mhm.
at the prices for see what's up, and it's like $230 for like the nosebleeds and standing room only. It's like,
Damn.
yike. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's exciting for sure. But should we do a quick little pick 'em before the World Series, before things get really out of hand?
Yeah, you want to go, like, tier by tier, like, series by
Yeah,
series?
so we'll start with the wild card here, and then
Yeah.
so let's do wild card, and then we'll do divisional series, so that we get to the championship series, and then we'll do championship series, World Series when they're up.
All right.
So wild
Cool.
card round, we already got kind of a head start because they all started today. Um, we got, like we said, Rays lost to the Rangers, so they're on the brink of elimination because these are only 3-game series. And then the next game was the Jays and the Twins, and the Twins kind of dominated the Jays, and they won that game, which was kind of surprising. But the Twins kind of looked like it got a little juice to them. Royce Lewis hit 2 home runs today. I mean, that guy's been killing it since coming back from that injury. And
Yeah.
then right now, I think we got Arizona and Milwaukee are playing right now. Top of the ninth inning, 4-3 Diamondbacks. I guess we can just assume that that's going to stay Diamondbacks for right now. And then the Phillies are winning 3-1 at the end of the seventh. So, do we just want to both share all our picks for that, and then or do we want to go game by game or series by series?
I was just gonna go series by series.
All right, let's start with Rangers at Rays. Then, what are we thinking? How that series going to end? 1-0 lead for the
With the
Rangers right now.
Rays falling down 1-0, I mean, and not even scoring a run today, I'm actually gonna lean Rangers because I like their pitching staff. I like their whole team stepped up this year. Their whole team, like, like, progressively got better. I feel like last year they were a solid team, but I mean, Seager, he's been like benefited the most from the shift rule. Like, that dude has went from being a mediocre player last year, because I mean, last year he was batting like 243 or something like that, which was way down from what he was used to in LA. So he bounced back this year. And I really like what the Rangers have on that team. So I'm taking them over the Rays. I probably before today would have took the Rays, because the Rays always seem to give it a little push in the playoffs, make a little further run than just one round. But with them falling 4-0 today, I'm taking the Rangers.
Yeah, the thing with the Rays is they have phenomenal pitching,
Pitching.
and
Yeah,
if
always.
they can't beat you, like with pitching, it's very hard for them to win. Not saying their offense is bad or anything, but their bullpen is borderline unhittable at times, and if they can't get to their bullpen with a lead, they're in a tough spot. And I guess you could say that for everybody, but for the Rays particularly. The Rangers' ending of the season after the All-Star break was a roller coaster, and their bullpen is sporadic. It can be
Yeah,
really
no.
good. It can be really bad. And today, like I said, they got, I don't want to say lucky, but like they really benefited from the Rays losing that game. Like the Rays' mistakes were ultimately what cost them
4
that game.
errors.
Yeah, like that is awful at home in the playoffs for a team that's usually very buttoned up defensively. And, that's,
Oh.
I don't know if that's just going to be if the Rays are shaken a little bit or something like that. But I think the Rangers, when you go down 1-0 in these series, it's really hard to come back, and it's so condensed. Like it's very hard to kind of come
Yeah.
back and win it. But, um, yeah, I think the Rangers are able to kind of battle it out. I think they win. I'm kind of worried about that matchup for the Orioles, to be honest, because
Yeah, me too. I kind of wanted the Rays.
yeah, yeah, and Yeah, because it's like the only thing that really concerned me with the Rays is like I said, like with their bullpen is in the playoffs when you have to face a really good bullpen, it is really hard to win, and it's like just incredibly frustrating and demoralizing. And the one thing that you can say about the Rangers, like I said, is their bullpen is not the best. So
Mm-hmm.
that could play to art, but their hitting is just ridiculous. Like they've got so many just lethal batters. I
Well,
think
you
like
don't.
only like half their
Yeah,
lineup's OPS is over 800. Like
yeah. I mean,
they kill it like that.
freaking,
But
you got Simeon. You got freaking Jonah Heim,
yeah,
breakout catcher this year. He was 30. Seager, he rates like since the shift was abolished, he rates. Garcia is like a star outfielder now in the league.
yeah, just a killer with the power.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, the Rangers.
and
I
that
think they could have that Royals energy, unfortunately, but we'll see. All right, next series. Should
we're
we
the
go?
Royals.
Should we go with another AL series? We'll go with Jays Twins. Who do you got? Twins up 1-0.
I'm doing this just because of prior history. I don't trust the Twins at all when it comes to playoffs. They always seem to find a way to lose series. Like they'll go up and then they'll choke 3 games or something in a row. So I'm taking the Jays. I just don't trust the Twins like organization enough. Like they're cursed to me. So I'm taking the Jays.
I'm going with the Twins. What I saw today was like a team that just has a ton of juice right now. Like that crowd was insane, and like I think that they're kind of hitting their stride right at the exact right time. Um, the Jays just are they're a team that's frustrating because they got so much talent. There's an argument that they have like the most talented roster in the AL East,
It's a
and from a
talented young team too. Like they're
yeah,
young, most of them.
yeah, and they just can't seem to get it right. And I think a lot of that might have to do with John Schneider. I don't think he's a very good manager, and
Mm-hmm.
I think something's going to have to change in the offseason for them. I just don't think they've got it this year. So I'm going to go Twins winning that one. Moving on.
Moving on to the Diamondbacks and the Brewers.
Or yeah, I meant like moving on to the next round, but yeah, we can move on to the next series.
Oh,
I was gonna be like, yeah,
sorry.
moving on.
Well, misunderstood what was going on there then.
It's all good. We can move on anyway. So what do we got? Diamondbacks, Brewers.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Uh,
Preach about your Brew Crew.
I'm taking my Brew Crew. Nothing really supports me right now, but I think they're a dangerous team. I like Yelich. I think they got one of the best hitting catchers in the league in Contreras. And they got a bunch of young players that like contributed this year. But I mean, the Diamondbacks also have a really young squad. They're like the NL Orioles, you know.
Yeah,
So, but I have to roll with the boys. I don't change. I'm rolling with my Brewers to win this because I
staying on them.
said they're a sneaky team. So I'm
Well, let's take a
roll with
live
them.
check at this score here.
If they come back here, I'm feeling real good. But
All right, top of the ninth, 4-3 Diamondbacks, 2 outs. So we'll see what happens. Rowdy bottom of the ninth. I'm going with the Diamondbacks to win this series. I think they're young, they're exciting, they got good pitching. Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks win that series. Brewers are kind of underwhelming to me. Yelich is having a kind of revival season, which is nice to see. But I just think it's the Diamondbacks are just better and more excited, I think, to be there. So I'm going to go with Diamondbacks to take that one.
Okay.
All right, so last one for the wild card round, we got Phillies and the Marlins. Phillies are up currently 3-1 right now in the top of the 8th with 2 outs. I am going with one of my favorite teams, one of my secondary teams, the Phils. I think the Phillies are winning this one. They seem to have that momentum again. They seem very similar to last year's team. And Bryce Harper's just unbelievable. He's on like such a Hall of Fame tear right now.
Yeah,
And
no, he's so good.
He's like one of the very few cases where you see somebody who got that big contract in baseball and he's absolutely lived up to it. And
Yeah. Nah.
yeah, so I see him. The Phil's
Well,
moving on to the next round.
what was wild about that big contract is, if you don't remember, like the first 4 months, people were hating him. Like in Philadelphia, they were like, "It's a bust. We shouldn't have paid him." And then since then, he's just been like the best player, like
Nails.
on a top 3 player in baseball. Like he's
Yeah.
crazy good. The only thing I hate about him is that my fucking neighbor ruined Bryce Harper for me because he sucked his dome. Just it made me so mad.
When
I
he was
liked
with
Bryce
the Nats.
Harper. Yeah, I liked Bryce Harper early, and this dude just was like, "Oh my god, Bryce!" And I was like, "Fucking hurts me so much." So I
Yeah.
became a hater, but I've moved on,
I
and I'm
think Bryce
gonna
kind
take
of.
the Phillies too.
I was kind of like really pulling for the Nats that year they won the World Series because I like the Nats too a little bit, but I just thought it was like they had a really good roster. Like I was on the train. It was one of those things that I called early in the year. I was like, the Nationals roster is still incredible. Like Juan Soto's better than Bryce Harper. Victor Robles at the time was still young. He was their top prospect. Like they had Adam Eaton, they had the pitching staff. And I was like, I think the Nationals are the best team in that division. And they started off terrible. I think it was like 19-31 or something that season, and just came tearing back. And I think Bryce kind of, he served his time a little bit as far as like seeing the Nationals win the World Series. He kind of had to deal with that the next season.
Yeah,
Everybody kind of saying like, "Oh, he left, and the Nationals figured it out somehow." And and it was kind of like, all right, yeah, it happened. Like the Nationals won it, and it's like, so now everybody can move on happy. I feel like, and Nationals haven't really had the success, and kind of completely botched their team after that. But they were on the up and up again. But yeah, I think the Phillies, Bryce Harper, they're on to the next round. Speaking of the next round, let's
yeah, I
move on
think
to
so
the AL,
too.
the DS, the NL and ALDS. So we'll do the AL first. So right now with our picks. So for mine, for the ALDS, I have Orioles, Rangers, Twins, and who's the Astros. And for me, I'm gonna go Astros beat the Twins just based off of the Astros just seem like they're back again. And then it makes me so nervous. I'm like nauseous even saying it. But I think the O's beat the Rangers. And we got
I
a
really hope
O's
so.
Astros ALCS, and
So
like I said,
we're basically doing the same here because I think the Stros. I said they were the most the team I fear the most if they get into the playoffs a couple weeks ago, and they made it in, and they're gonna make another push for another World Series appearance. Like they're 5th in the past 7 years or something like that. But and I don't know. The Twins just I mean the Jays got a good squad, but I just don't see them being able to get past the Astros in that pitching staff and just team in general. They still have just stars everywhere. Even the players that left, they filled in those holes real quick.
yeah, they're just a very well-run team, and they're dangerous, and it's very concerning. Like I said, I'm just sitting here like nauseous now just thinking about it. So let's
Yeah,
move
the
on.
O's. I'm also taking them because they're the boys. I got the bet. They need to.
They're on, baby. They're doing the simulated games this year. They're not going to get cold. They're not going to sit on their. They're not going to rest on their laurels like a bunch of idiots. They're going to go out there and they're going to fucking show their cojones.
Man, it's
They're
gonna
going to
be
Mr.
a
Splash all over
wild
the
one.
Rangers.
It is gonna be
Yeah.
intense.
All right, so we got now. I think the Phillies would be playing. They would be a rematch with the Braves, right? If they win,
I'm pretty
taking the
sure
Braves this
about
year.
that. Yeah, I'm taking the
I think the
Braves
Braves
too.
Braves have had that series circled all of this season as like the motivation to get back there and like redo it. And I don't think they get it wrong this time. Team's way too good, like you talked about. Like they are just an
It's
ungodly
the death
good
squad.
lineup.
It's the death squad. They
Yeah.
got like every player has 35 home runs besides Michael Harris or something like that.
It's insane. Like it's just so much power. Like they're never out of. They could be down 8-1 and they're not out of the game.
No.
And they have 2 MVP candidates on their team. Like Matt Olson could easily. There's a case for him to be the MVP just as much as Acuna. And just outside of that, Ozzy Albies is just any other team. He'd be a franchise player. He is a franchise player for them. But
Ozzy's a stud. Love that man.
Yeah, and I mean you got
Acuna,
Strider,
though.
Max Fried. Like they're
their pitching rotations fire. They're and just Acuna is just a different breed. That man is
not human.
Special. Yeah.
All right, so we got the Braves moving on for them, and then the other series for me would be Diamondbacks just went up 6-3.
Oh,
top of the ninth. So the other series would be the Diamondbacks and the why am I blanking?
The Dodgers.
Dodgers, yeah. And I think it's the Dodgers. Like Diamondbacks are, like I said, exciting and young, but they're just not ready yet. And the Dodgers are, as always, incredibly good. So I got Dodgers, Braves, Astros, O's.
So I'm gonna do it just to switch things up because I'm a risky business kind of guy. Dodgers will probably be Braves, Dodgers, but gonna roll with my boys again. Give me the Brewers over the Dodgers.
Oh my gosh!
Give me them. No reasoning, just give me them.
You're just feeling them right now. They're down 6-3. They might not make it to the NLDS, but
no, they might not be playing after tomorrow. But
they're going to the World Series. Actually, just give them time. They're like an old car. You just gotta kind of give them a minute to heat up.
I've had my World Series pick like 2 teams ever since the first series happened between them. The O's and the Braves when they played that series in like May or April, whenever they first played. I think it might have been the only time they played. But I saw those 2 teams competing against each other. But all the games were close. And I was like, oh, these beat 2 World Series teams we're watching right now. Not to stroke my own cock, but
you got to do it every now and then, And with that, we should probably end this thing because we
absolutely
started off this thing by saying we should try and keep it under half an hour, and we are now well over 2 half hours.
Every time.
Every single one we're going to get it. Maybe we should start with like 45 minutes and then we'll go down a little bit more.
Maybe we should be like we're aiming for an hour and a half, and now we'll only record for half an hour.
Aim big, yeah. Even asking our own family to listen to us talk for an hour and 8 minutes is just a big ask.
It's a big ask. They don't even do it. They listen for like 10 minutes.
It's like we gotta cut this thing down.
All
right, we'll be back on Thursday or maybe Friday for a live pod where we'll both be in Maryland. Who knows? We'll see.
Absolutely.
Who knows?
I'll be home at like 9 or 9:30 or so. We should definitely make it happen.
Maybe we should just hold off for Friday for a live. Give everybody give our fans what they want. A live podcast.
What they truly need.
Yeah, us sitting in the Florida room just doing the same exact thing.
I'm literally gonna wear nice clothes because we gotta take photos, and I don't want to pack them because ruin them. So I'm just gonna wear them that day. I'm gonna look on this plane looking like I'm a man from the 1960s because I'm gonna be wearing like a full suit.
Oh my gosh, classic! Yeah. All right, well, I will see you on Friday then, good sir. And as always, if you listen this far, please give us your information so we can give it to the cops because you're stalking us.
My girlfriend works at Shepherd Pratt will get you in there.
Exactly. He will be committed. All right.
Peace.